Alright, so let's take a look at the 1st of September. Now this month is going to be pretty good to trade because we're going to get some good swings in, and it starts today, and today, as you know, is a swing day for a bunch of stuff. So if you make sure, if you're in the club area, remember your swing days. Okay, so just mark them in, and I talked about the full moon happening on Thursday as well, so that's basically it. Okay, now then, Friday is the swing day for the indices. There's also a swing day for gold, and also it was full moon yesterday, so selling from the highs yesterday was also a good idea because I said 1950 was pretty much done. It's in the blue zone, so looking for sales here as well, like I said, should be the way to go as well. Alright, so if I come back to gold, this is where we're at. Okay, now yesterday, once the target was done, as you can see, we don't have any Astro hours here, but if we go back up again, you can look for sell-offs. All right, now yesterday it made equal highs here, so going slightly higher into that 1950. I'm just going to put this up here into 1950 is okay. Okay, we just come up here a little bit to go up in there to take out the stops, and then turn around at Astro hours is okay. Yesterday, like I said, you can see this is in the middle zone here. It went lower here. In the Astro hours, we were never really at the highs. It was just, you know, we weren't at the levels where the market shot off. If you're using technical analysis like we do, okay, this is the place where the market took off. So this would have been your zone here, right there. Okay, so this is where the market came to, but you can see yesterday when it dipped down, it was not an Astro hour. You know, we just didn't have Astro hours at the highs or the lows, so nothing really happened in terms of Astro hours. But because we made the targets, okay, into that 1947-48, the market just sizzled down, and if we go back up again at Astro hours, you can start selling off again, in my opinion. On the weekly, if you take a look at that, let's just go to the weekly. Let's see, we're in that blue zone there. I said this was an indecision bar. It's this level here, and that's fine as well. All right, so as long as we don't break above that line and stay above it, I think it's good to kind of like push further down into this zone here, and if it comes down here, it's going to be really good to go long again. You can go long again in this zone. On the weekly, it feels like it's filled in the gaps here, but on the daily, I think we should still have room to come back into this zone. So if it does sell, we should break this zone and dip down before any buying occurs. Alright, so that's that. So I'm going to get rid of this 1848 from here because that's no longer relevant for us. On the daily, we've got a PST breakdown with targets down to 52.47. That's 1925, 1918. As long as this setup continues, and it may continue next week as well, this 1925 and 18 is going to be your target zone here. So I'm going to just put this 1918 down here as well. I am expecting the market to have rush moves, so the market can actually go and make some decent moves today, especially in the New York session. Towards the closing, we might have some more action. Okay, so other than that, your good levels to trade, good hours to trade, are going to be this 1035 zone that we're coming up to. This is not bad. Okay, so from here the market can dip down. What you can do is wait for it to come down, and then on a pull up you can sell off as well. Or if the market goes up into 1035 to go into this zone, you can also sell off as well, and try that move as well. Okay, so I don't think that's a bad thing. Then the next one is 135. That's also okay. If the market is up here around 135, it's good to be also shorting. 325, same kind of thing. 325 can be an adjustment. If the market came down into 325 somewhere, it's likely to push up into 518 and if that happens to be an up level and sell off again, that's also an option. So these things are on the card. So matching to the hours to push down doesn't look like a bad idea. So for example, this is 10:35 here. So if we go up, we can sell down. Okay. Then, like I said, that 325 is going to be around here. If this 325 is an option to take us into 520, it'll be there. Then we've got the 636, which is a bit of a risky area. Remember 636. If we still hang around here at 520 to 636, if we're here or up here somewhere, then you want to be selling off into the closing. Okay, and that's how it is. But if we end up down somewhere at these hours, then you will be looking to go up into closing, and then next week we'll be looking to sell it off, and that's how we should be moving forward. Alright, so let's clean up that mess. Okay, now let's take a look at SP500. With the SP500, guys, remember I had that line, it tapped it and just sizzled down. Okay, so that's all nice and easy there. If you take a look yesterday, at the highest it did was right here at an Astro hour, okay, in this zone. So this zone was okay to be selling, okay, and that's fine as well. And I also talked about the swing day for the indices. As you know, it's SP500 was Monday, Tuesday and Friday. So as you can see, Monday and Tuesday we shot up. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if we go back up, we're good to sell off again. And remember, we're looking to sell off. This is the zone they sold off, so it's all good. So during this Astro hour period, if the market does come up into any place, you can sell off. If it breaks down, any pull up is okay to sell. On the daily, we can make targets, and that's going to be that 54 is your first target, which is 4,485, and then you got 4,451 here. So 4485, 4485 is down here. So we should break down, looks like. Okay, that's good. And then we've got 4451 coming into. Okay, oops. 4451 coming into there. Alright, so we've got room to come down. Alright, so not a bad location. The daily pivot is here. Let me just refresh that so that doesn't confuse us. Let's go to M30, M15 and refresh. Okay, and that's basically it. So if the market sticks around here or here, and then we push up into New York, or New York session, or the lunchtime, whatever these Astro hours are here, okay, like 135, 325, okay, if we end up here 520, then you want to be like selling downwards. Now if you take a look at the daily, this is a nice retracement to come back to. As you can see, the market can fill that level in as well, because there's a gap there, okay, and that's good for us. On the weekly, let's take a look. On the weekly, remember I drew this, look at that, that's pretty precise, and it's really precise on the PST, and this is why this PST is really handy for you, because you just understand where you're going to. All right, and that's basically it. So in our new version, I'm updating, and I'm going to try to put some pricing on here as well. So when we draw this on the PST, it should, like when I draw a line here, it should give me like a decent price as well. So we can use those levels as well and just trade off the PST, really, because the market looks at time, price and motion. So this is like a good way of tracking where you can come up to, and it matches nicely, and then you can look for a sell-off. So this is the same thing here, if you like, get up and sell off. Now in September, because September is going to be really I think it's going to be a month where there's going to be a lot of volatility, which is good for us. Okay, anything up we sell off. So when the market comes down here, it could find support to push higher, okay, and that's also okay, because we want to be selling at highs as well. But generally, as you can see, this is the sell zone. What we might see again in the market is just going up to sweep stops, or just spiking up, or just coming to retest before we start to go with the downtrend again, because the downtrend should start when we go again. As you see, we just broke that level here. Okay, so the next time it comes down, we should be lower than this coming into there, or this lower the channel here. Euro dollar, with the euro dollar as well. Okay, remember we said we were going to be going long here. Now remember, I said Thursday also, if you look at your swing days, I said Thursday is a swing day for the euro dollar. Okay, so Thursday swing day euro dollar. Okay, and it just sizzled down, as you can see, into the Astro hours, just kept pushing down and down and down. So not much to talk about really. At the Astro hours, you can see the market just stops here and then just breaks down, stops here, just breaks down. So it's just constantly breaking down into that weekly pivot there. Today, that's the daily pivot. If we go back up again, we should be selling off again. So during the Astro hour periods, there's two things that can happen. We're either going to go up into here or slightly higher here. Now, if you take a look at your technical analysis perspective, what you want to be doing is checking out where this broke, and this broke here. So going up into the daily pivot, okay, and then pushing down again is not a bad idea at all. The market should go above this level here. Okay, we should go above this, push up, take out stops, and then push down. So the market going up here is not a bad idea. If it goes back up at these Astro hours, selling is not a bad idea either. For this one as well, look out for 1035 to 1113. Might see ourselves up here, and then, you know, selling again like they sold here is not a bad idea. Also, this zone is good to sell as well. All right, and if you take a look at the daily, okay, it's pretty much, you know, the wicks are all pretty much done. We could go up a little bit from here. Yesterday I also said the market can come down and then push up a little bit more. It's also logical. Why? Because we've got the Venus line there, and the Venus line is right on top of the weekly pivot there. So if we end up down here at the Astro hours as well, okay, it's also okay to maybe push up, but like I said, we want to be selling the highs. Okay, on the weekly as well, remember we said we've got a bit more room to go up there. It's already done the weekly PST red dotted lines. You see how accurate that is. It's taken out the stops, okay, from the previous week. So any push up, okay, we'd like to push down. The only thing left up there is that 55. If it doesn't do anything crazy, maybe it'll go there, but it shouldn't go above that. Okay, it might be something crazy to go up there, but it shouldn't go above, and we should still be able to sell if it gets here. Now, because it's Friday, you might want to do that next week as well. All right, and that would be the option there. Then we're going to get a new PST level here. The setup will be the same, but the PST level may change. The setup may also change because this is lower. So, all right, so this is just for the last day. But remember, we said we'd come down here and no selling here. So the market bought, rightfully so, right on a weekly support there, going up in order to resell. So today, going up to sell, I think, is the way to go, being Thursday a swing day, which worked out really well as well. As you can see, Wednesday made the high, Thursday just came all the way down. Probably we've got a bit more room to go down to fill in some gaps as well. So I think selling is not a bad idea on the euro dollar as well. Where to sell, like I said, here in this zone is good. If it retests the previous week high, previous day high here as well, it's okay. But it's already done this retesting here. So, you know, it's either going to be here or slightly here. And worst case scenario is if it tests the PST weekly right there. Okay, be mindful, because when market sees a PST level, you see it's magnetic. It's just like bang, pulls itself into that zone. All right, so it's doable. So keep an open mind. If something is not matching your technical analysis and your Astro hours, don't do it. because obviously, you don't want to be taking the risk. Why do it? Because we're trading with time and price. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq, BTC. Alright, so Dow Jones is here. Now Dow Jones yesterday, remember we had targets here and here, 35,133 and then 35,033. This was pretty much done the day before. Market comes up, dips its head in there. These are your Astro hours yesterday. Okay, dips down and sells off. And that's how it is. Okay, right into our zone there. Now if this thing goes up again, it should come back up a little bit, and then we should sell off. Now if you take a look at the daily, it's done that 58 as well. On the weekly, we had that level which went above that level slightly, 56, and yesterday that 56, as you can see, is 34,931, which was already done before. Alright, it was done there on that day. And then on the daily we had these two levels. Market comes up nicely and then sells off. If we go back up again, you want to be selling off in this zone. There's a bit of gap here, so coming back up into 35,133 is an option. If I go into the US 30 daily, okay, these zones are here, okay, to be selling. That's from 55 to 50, let me just check, 55 to 58, which is 34,939, 35,107, 35,107. Okay, so getting back into that zone is also okay for us to sell. Now today we're going to find ourselves towards the closing in a pushy mode. Okay, 35,107. Let me just put this up here. As you can see, it's right there. So if we get up into that zone, 35,107 is there, it'll take out any stop and it'll fill out all the gaps, and then we could also sell off again. 1030 is here today. Okay, if we go up, do we want to sell? I think so as well. Yesterday was full moon, remember, beautiful, slide it down. This was no man's land, as you can see. I mean, this was pretty close to the white line. If you bought here to push up, it was okay as an intraday trade, but remember I said we're up at target, so you want to be watching it and not pushing your luck when you're in this zone here, trying to buy inside a sell zone. All right, so down here we've got support today on the LCL1 line, 34,670, 34,670 is down here. So this is the first support of the day here. All right, I'm just going to get rid of that 34,722. We've done it. Okay, that was the Astro hour. That was the price. The market's done that. Let me see on the weekly as well if we can get somewhere. Yeah, this zone, like I said, is a sell zone. Now remember, for September, double top is on the cards, but whenever we get an opportunity to sell, we want to sell, and this is a sell zone. Okay, so we're looking to sell in these zones here. This is the last bar, remember, and this is the wick off the previous bar. So this is our sell zone. So when we're tapping in here, want to sell again. The market can do the body as well. Sometimes it tends to do that, which is fine. So if we go up all of a sudden, this is going to be, these are like sell zones. So if we're up at Astro hours, we're looking to sell basically. Okay, now remember this 34,685 here is pretty much where it covers the gap too. So the market coming down into that zone is logical. All right, so if we go up and come down into that zone, it's normal. Okay, this is where the market's been making some gaps. Okay, so closing these gaps and then selling off would be ideal, because Friday is also a swing day for the indices. Having said that, that will make us a good setup for Monday to sell anywhere in the highs. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. Now with Nasdaq, here we are. Okay. Now with Nasdaq, I said don't stand in front of it. Why? Because we've got a breakout and you don't want to be mucking around with it. Okay. Despite the fact that this is one of the zones where we said we should be selling because it's a gap fill. Okay. But when a PST breaks out, you want to just give it, some time and see what the market is doing. Okay. At the end of the day, our bias is down. We want to be selling this off. All right. And that's just how it is. So we'll see how things pan out with that one. You could also do this. Let me just do it like this. Take that. Do that. Take it. Nope. Nope. Stay there. There. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're looking to sell. Our bias is to sell when the market's up at levels. So yeah, but next week this could have probably a better setup for us, and that's what we can follow. Like I said, could tap into there, we could sell off from there. That's all good. I think this zone for us is good to sell, and we're just going to be open-minded next week and this month actually for double tops. But like this is it. We're at the tops. We want to be selling again. Okay, into that zone, into all the way down here. This is going to come down, and it's going to come down nicely. So you want to be in the game. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now, guys, with Bitcoin, okay, I said sell zone. All right, so no real surprises there, and it's right on. It's just come down right into this day. Beautiful. Okay, remember I said the market will close this gap. It closed that gap. You see how nicely it closed it, and selling was your option. If you did that, you would have been okay, and you would have been laughing. The market did not go back up. They just sold off. Okay, and that's just bingo. All right, and you can see the big push up there. So market coming back to cover it is great, and the market broke these lows. Now we're in this zone here, and remember I said we've got targets down here. Okay, so any sell-off would have been okay. And if you take a look, let's see what that was. This was 235. Well, remember your Astro hours from yesterday. We had 225. All right, so let me just make this a little bigger. All right, Astro hours yesterday was 225. So this is your 225 markets here. Okay, and from 225 we had 445. As you can see, 445 is there, and then we add 525, which is there. Right, it's your 525, and you can see the market's just dipping down, comes back to opening, goes all the way down into our closing Astro hour, which is 10:30. 10:30 is where? Yeah, that's your 10:35. So 10:30 is this bar pretty much. Okay, and that's it. So not much to talk about. We've got room to come down on the daily. Will this now break down? This looks now good to break down. Okay, this looks good to break down. What you can do now is to just move that there, take this wick, extend it a little bit. You'll see that if we go up, anywhere up is good to sell. All right, now your first support is going to be this line here, LCL 135.450. Sorry, 25.450. 25.450. All right, so that's that on the daily. Come on, right there. And this one is 29, and that's going to be 24,600. So 24,600 is down here. Okay, so we're going to be into that zone as well. All right, so not to worry. Whoops. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, on the weekly you can see that's right, really nice. Okay, pretty much on the dot, coming down. All right, your support here is 39, 25,066, and that's going to be your magnet point, 25,066. So this has got room to come down into that zone. 25,066 is down there, so it's got room to come down, and that's on the weekly. You know, like I said, it's a magnet point. On the monthly, yeah, just 45, your first target 23,838. So this is a new month. This should, like, I guess, push down, because this is like what, from here, okay, well, that's it. So any push up, we want to be selling off, as you know. All right, good. Have a good weekend.